And on a track like we have here in Cleveland, they use those brakes a lot.
Well, it reminds me of like in car racing, for instance, NASCAR. They run in Martinsville, Virginia, where the track is really small, and they've got to save the brakes for the end of the race.
Our Honda stopwatch. Let's get an interval between first and second. About 5 seconds. And then Henry is real close in third. Ward about 10 seconds in back of the leader. Here's Hughes, who's just gotten around Dowd in 5th spot.
It'll be interesting now to see what the lap time is compared to the 125. I'm going to assume that it's a lot faster for the 250s, but sometimes on a tighter track, you're not able to open that up and really use the full horsepower. And at 125, you can be more aggressive in the tight stuff, so probably be pretty close. There's a look at Greg Albertine, who's having his problems tonight. Kyle Lewis, remember he crashed in the first lap. And here comes Jeremy again.
Oh, it's going to be pretty close. I think we had a 47-second lap time for the 125, so about a second or so more.
Yeah, that's not as much as I expected, and maybe that wasn't one of his best laps. But let's check in with Skip Norfolk, who's down in the mechanics area with Marty.
Skip, you just showed him +5. I think he's got a nice, comfortable lead right now in your book.
Yeah, but, you know, these guys are going around this track pretty dang fast right now. One little bobble, and I think you're going to get eat up, so you can't relax it. You got to keep hammering. We got 8 laps left, and it's looking pretty good right now.
Are you starting to think, like, maybe history tonight?
Try not to think about that, but thanks for reminding me.
Skip Norfolk in a happy mood and has a right to be with his man out in front as we check out Jeff Emig in second place. Henry starting to pick it up after the little bobble.
Well, that was a real pivotal point in the race, and if Henry was able to make that stick, I think he'd be up there bothering Jeremy right now.
Number 7, Mike Kudrowski, finally starting to knock on some doors there with John Dowd. Kudrowski only 1 point away from Larry Ward for second place in the points, Jace, but he's coming off an 8th at Texas and an 11th at Charlotte, North Carolina. He's had some tough times lately, David.
That's true, but compared to previous seasons for Mike, he's having a pretty decent year. He's only 1 point out of the Outdoor National Championship. If you look at our Honda dump cam, Doug Henry coming through there. Mike's having a decent season, but, you know, he's just never really struck me as a great Supercross rider. He's just not consistent enough. Outdoors, though, he is one tough customer.
And the outdoor season, the thick of it, is starting to get pretty close. And Dowd does a nice job of cutting him off at the corner.
Well, Dowd knows now that Kudrowski's there. That's like knocking on the door, basically. When you run into some guy, even though you're not going to make that pass, you let him know you're there, and that guy starts thinking about you, and that's all you can really hope for on a track this tight. Force him into a mistake.
And mistakes happen fast on a track like this. Mike Kudrowski, as you saw, currently in 7th, wants to get closer to Larry Ward. He's only got 2 more races to go on the Supercross season to hopefully pick off that second spot.
You know, if these races were 30 minutes long, Kudrowski would have a pretty good shot at winning the title. But I think for him, the problem is he's going to have to get off ahead of Larry Ward to have a shot at beating him in this title chase.
Here goes MK. He's got the angle inside. Let's see what Dowd can do with it. Mike Kudrowski moving into 6th. Brian Swink getting by Dowd.
Well, Kudrowski just moved through there and opened the door wide, and Swink rolled right through it. It was an excellent move by Mike. That was the same place a lap before where he got him to show Dowd a wheel, and Dowd just didn't cover the move.
And look at that corner they just went through. Lots of acceleration there before the finish line jump. It's already down to the plastic. The dirt moving around a little bit.
They usually put the plastic down before they put the dirt down in an effort to save the grass in the football field. But these riders are, some places the dirt's just not thick enough, and they dig right through it.
Jeff Emig, second place in back of McGrath. And we'll be back with more 250 action from Cleveland, Ohio in a moment. Live action from the 250 main in Cleveland, Ohio, and Jeff Emig gets the yellow flag. You see, Michael Craig is down. Looks like he might be hurt seriously, maybe. He's not moving. The yellow flags are waving. Jeremy McGrath coming through the little jump section there. Jeff Emig has picked up some space on him. Henry's in 3rd.
Well, possibly when Jeremy came around there, saw the flags, he didn't do that triple, and you saw Emig came through there, actually doubled it. And whatever the case, Emig has closed the gap on our leader.
So we've got a close race on our hands and still yellow flags in that portion of the course. The paramedics have surrounded Michael Craig. They're not moving him off the track, David.
Well, he could be unconscious right there, or, you know, when somebody lays that still, you can see Jeremy just passed him. When someone lays that still on the racetrack, you know, it's a pretty smart move not to move them, and you could probably do more damage. So they're doing the right thing there, but what's happening is it's right at the landing of the triple jump. So as these leaders come by, you know, if Jeremy doesn't jump the triple and Emick does, he's going to gain valuable time. And it's just a situation where they're trying to be safe and not impede the, you see all these guys work, they're in the track. And as the riders come by, they're in danger. So it's a really difficult situation for them and for the riders.
And the problem being for the officials now is the red cross flag is showing out there. They had instructions before the race. You see that flag, you do not double, you do not triple, you single every jump. And yet Jeremy McGrath and Emick are both jumping the double.
Well, you know what, Art? The double jump in a defense for the riders really is way before they get to where Craig is laying on the track. As they do that double, they still have to roll over another jump, and they're staying all the way against the edge, the outside edge of the racetrack, and they're really not in the way. If they were to triple that, that would be scary.
Larry Ward in 4th position behind number 4, Doug Henry.
Doug Henry appears to have slipped off the pace, and he wasn't that far behind Emick. Now maybe he's going a little slower through that area where all the action has taken place and has lost some time. And either way, it's unfortunate for Mike Craig, and I just hope that he's not hurt too bad.
Jeremy McGrath coming through the yellow flag area once again. He's led the entire race. Emick got the whole shot. Jeremy McGrath cut underneath him in the first turn and has been out in front ever since. Emick, though, is going to make a race of it here at the end.
Yeah, you can bet that Jeremy knows he can feel Jeff Emick. Look how close Emick has gotten. And I don't know if it's as a result of Craig going down and causing some chaos over near that triple, but as the final lap, Emick is within striking distance.
We've got a race on our hands, finally, from Cleveland here in the 250s. Jeremy McGrath with number 6, Jeff Emick, starting to breathe down his tailpipe. Jeremy stepping it up as best he can as we take a look from his helmet cam.
That's a lapped rider in front of Jeremy. It looks like Jeff DeMint on the KTM. You see Jeremy chooses a different line in case he was to make a mistake. He'd have someplace to go. And DeMint moves to the outside, frees up. What happens a lot of times is the leader will catch up to the lapped riders and doesn't realize that it's a leader. So he'll mess them up. And by the time he moves over, then he moves over for Emick, and it makes things really tough for the leader.
Pretty much in the can right now, as they say in the movies. Jeremy McGrath has tied Rick Johnson's all-time career victory mark of 28 with Jeff Emick placing 2nd.